Well, let's take this on. With me is Shafeeq Ghabra, who's a professor of political science at Kuwait University. Mr. Ghabra, welcome to the programme.
Thank you.
This lack of reaction from the West, are you surprised by it?
Not really. It's there has been many lack of reactions over many issues, violence, coups, tortures, violations of human rights across the Arab world.
But given
it
that
looks like the West is under other priorities for the time being.
But Mohammed Morsi was a pivotal figure at his time, wasn't he? And you'd think there would be something.
You would think, but to me, the most important reaction is the one coming from Human Rights Watch, coming from human rights organizations. I think that's where it matters most. It seems to me that the West is failing so many issues and so many tests when it comes to human rights and when it comes to people's self-determination.
You're right. I mean, there are UN institutions and there's Human Rights Watch, as you say, who are talking about this and saying how wrong it has been. But they say these things, they've been saying them for many years, but nobody seems to listen.
Well, the people of the region do listen. They have a pulse. The people of the region and the people of Egypt understand more than anybody else what has happened. The death of President Morsi reflects full negligence when it comes to the way he was jailed and the conditions he was living under in jail. This requires an investigation into what has happened. And I think his death, the way it happened, will haunt the government and the political system, the regime in Egypt for a long time to come.
So down the line?
Down the line.
How will it come to haunt?
It will come back the way so many other issues do have an impact. This is a former president. He was elected, the first to be elected in a long history of Egypt. He was thrown out and arrested in a coup. And there was a big issue of violations that came as a result of that particular change. He should not have been treated this way. There should have been some sort of a reconcile before that. There must have been a way out. Leaving him in jail in such a condition for 6 years with limited medical attention, who is to blame? Isn't it the system? Isn't it the regime? Isn't it the president?
Right, it's interesting because we're just hearing now that the UN is demanding a full inquiry and full investigation into what has happened, including his time and his treatment within prison. So that's, in your view, is a good thing?
Well, I would say that we will see more reactions within the coming few days. As time goes by, this could be a turning point regarding the state of human rights and the state of jails in Egypt.
Interesting. As far as the lack of reaction from the West as we speak, is that because they don't want to stir up a geopolitical storm, that they would just rather prefer the status quo to be maintained?
I don't know.
What's the issue? I mean, you say there's other priorities, but...
we will need to ask the West, why this muted reaction? Why? In so many different places, from Palestine to other places in the region, to human rights, to even the situation today over Iran and sanctions after the nuclear deal. Why so weak, even in front of this rise of the right and the attitude of President Trump? After all, he brought a new atmosphere to the West that is more hegemonic, but yet much more lacking in content and in the ability to implement.
Meanwhile, so that's one side of the thing, but on the other side, you have dictators still falling. The situation in Sudan, the situation in Algeria, the people are still unhappy and making their voices heard, and it's having an effect.
Exactly. I mean, what started in 2011 with the people demanding respect, demanding to be representation, demanding their rights, demanding justice, demanding economic incentives and a better life and kind of transparency in the system and accountability, is still today. It's still the same. The regimes did not learn from the lessons of 2011, did not reform, did not change, did not go into issues that really matter for the citizen. And what we see today with Egypt tells me that the system in Egypt has not learned the lesson of 2011. That makes me predict that there will be other rounds, and that's not the end of history.
Shafeeq, it's fascinating talking to you. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.